on Nationwide this evening as towns and villages up and down the land show their best side to the National Tidy Towns competition judges. We ask a winning town, Ennis, just what makes a winner. One of the country's most popular visitor attractions opens again after a disastrous fire, and the cave men and cave women of County Clare. They've put a natural phenomenon on show. Now, the Cragganowen Visitor Centre is one of the most popular in the country, but 2 years ago it suffered a major setback when one of its attractions, that was a reconstructed Cragganowen, actually burnt down. Well, now it's been restored again. The centre is once more open to the public, as our Paul O'Flynn discovered.
From the mud huts of the Cragganowen to the Celtic chieftain's Ringfort home, the ancient village of Cragganowen is a place where Ireland's history comes alive. The reconstruction of a Bronze Age village known as a Cragganowen had been the centrepiece of Cragganowen since it first opened in 1975. But 2 years ago, the Cragganowen was completely destroyed by a fire. The cause of the blaze was never discovered, but it was decided to rebuild the Cragganowen from scratch using only native materials. The construction took 2 years to complete, and its end product is now back on display to visitors.
It's an excellent day here for Cragganowen. We're relaunching the Cragganowen, which have been rebuilt really over the last 2 years approximately. We were actually quite lucky in that plans for the previous rebuild back in the early 90s had actually been left with us on site by a previous manager, and that was great because the consultants then were able to look back on those plans and use those as the basis of the reconstruction. We then brought in a local construction company called Timberline, who are expert in this area, and with the excellent craftsmanship of Timberline, they were able bit by bit to bring the Cragganowen exactly back to the way they would have been, not only before they were burned down, but indeed right back to prehistoric times.
The buildings were completely lost, and the palisade, everything except the island was burnt, and we started from scratch. The materials that were used came from local woods. Main materials are oak, ash, hazel, alder and willow. The daub then is made with clay from the Shannon, mixed with cow manure and straw, and applied to wattlework similar to this wattlework that you see in the palisade inside the walls, and the daub is applied over that. The straw comes from, or the reed comes from the Shannon estuary. It's been a very exciting project for us, and that we've accomplished something that is good and reflects what may have been and shows the potential that these people had.
Apart from the reconstruction of the Cragganowen boasts exhibits and displays on all walks of Celtic life.
It's extremely well thought out. It was well thought out from its inception, and the Cragganowen which are being shown today are well known of that. The ring fort is a perfect example of a reconstructed ring fort. It has all the things that would have been in the ring fort, and often children come here to study the clay and make the kilns and actually turn wood and so on, and see how the weaving and the jewellery and everything is made. So it's a living past, and it's very, very important for school children to come here and be able to visualise how people would have lived and how they could have survived, and realise that it wasn't so very, very strange at all in what they read in the history books.
This was called a pole lathe, and it was a tool used in the Iron Age to basically turn wood. So you could make bowls, chalices, candlestick holders, anything like that, but also to make handles for your tools, for spears or for arrows as well, because you're not going to find a perfectly straight piece of wood, so you can turn it and do it. People are very confused at what exactly it does. They're kind of scratching their heads. For example, we had 5 German engineers in here and they didn't know what it was. So You know, it is kind of confusing to look at it, but it's very simple. And just when you explain what it can be used for and examples of stuff that can be done, like you can see how well you can get stuff done on it. So kind of just to show kind of how ingenious the people were back at that time, you know.
I think the design, well, it's basically the same designs, but you know, the walls have been done slightly differently, and the doors, it's lovely. It actually gives you a feel, doesn't it? Look like I've been here forever. It gives you a feel that this is how life might have been. It's lovely.
I think it'll be a real boost to Cragganowen and to tourism in general that we've re-established the Cragganowen. Thankfully, people were very sympathetic to us over the 2-year period and did continue to visit. But it was down to a lot of hard work, I suppose, by the staff over the last 2 years in general that kept the place going and were able to keep a positive message to the visitors despite the fact that we weren't in full strength. Thankfully today all of that's over and we're able to move forward in a very positive way.
Living the dream. And that ends the programme for this evening. Do join us again at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Until then, from Ennis and the County Clare and from all of us and your nationwide team, very good evening to you.